Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is a readathon announcement. I honestly wasn't sure when, if ever, I would do a readathon because they seem like a lot of work, and I am not great with sticking with the TBR or reading plans or a theme or like any of the things. So I was like, do I want to? This is the fact that Tamika and Izzy are aware of, and then they just like made a readathon and were like, hey, you're in it. So that happened. So then I proceeded to be very cooperative and gracious and, you know, just whatever you guys want to do. And if anybody claims that I was the problem child, then you know for a fact who the liars in the group are. So I'm just throwing that out there just in case, you know, somebody tries to slander me. You know. So anyways, this is a dark romance readathon, and it is a weekend readathon. It is August 13th through the 16th, which is Friday through Monday, so that works perfectly fine with my schedule, so that'll be amazing. Closer to the readathon, I will post a TBR, but there is not a bingo board, there are not certain prompts. What we have is a scavenger hunt, and this is inspired by Hoeathon. They had a scavenger hunt. It was really fun, and we had just all really enjoyed it. And so we're like, yeah, let's do that, but specifically with dark romance. So this is very much a easy peasy, no pressure. You read one book or 8 books, doesn't matter. A type of readathon. So the hosts are Tamika from Library of Tomes, Izzy from Happy for Now, Naima from Naima's Reads, and Ashley from Ashley Reads, and me, Heather from booktubes. So that's who all is hosting it. There's no live show, there's no group book, there's none of the things. It's gonna be so chillax. Am I going to vlog? Yes, I feel like that's a requirement for readathon hosts. Am I going to probably DNF/go off TBR? Yes, almost definitely. I am going to do a TBR, I'm going to do a spinner wheel and do it that way, but before I get into the prompts, let me just tell you that if you read First Comes Blood by Lilith Vincent, this is the first in a dark reverse harem mafia series, every single one of the prompts are in there. Izzy and Tamika already read it and loved it, and I would probably have already read it, except that I'm saving it for the readathon because I'm competitive, but not in a I want to work really hard type of way. I'm competitive and I actually just like want to be the best naturally without having to put too much effort into it. So I know if I read that book for the readathon, I can hit all the prompts, and that's what I want to do. So I'll tell you the prompts, I'll give you some recommendations, and that's it. That's the whole entire thing. Make sure that you tag me and the other hosts if you decide to do a TBR or participate, whether on Instagram or on YouTube or on Twitter, all the things. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. So the first prompt is I'll Burn the World Down. This is a main character who doesn't like anybody except for the love interest. For this, I have Deviant King by Rina Kent. Rina Kent writes sociopaths in a way that I really enjoy reading. I feel like any sociopath is perfect for this prompt, honestly. Sociopaths are really good at copying the emotions that they see in others and like seeing and reading their body cues and language and manipulating. And when they tend to be obsessive about somebody, they're all in, but they also don't really care about hurting other people in a way that most of us would care. So it's very interesting. This one is bully. It is a private academy, rich boy, definitely dubious consent shows up in this, and there are some trigger warnings for child abuse in the past and kidnapping and things like that that have happened previously. Books 1 through 3 of the series follow the same couple, and this is probably my favorites of all of the Rina Kent books that I read. Then we have All Tied Up, where you're restrained in some way during a sexual act, and for this I want to recommend Maybe One More Time, which is Vegas Nights number 3 by Christina C. Jones. This is motorcycle club, black love, older woman, younger man, and he gets kinky right away, and she definitely gets restrained during sexy times, and it is hot. It's so hot. This is a novella, and it's kind of lighter on the dark end, so I feel like it would be perfect for this readathon where maybe you don't want super dark back to back to back, and also it meets the prompt, and also it's shorter, so it's so good. Number 3, we have Whose Limb Is This? So this is any book with multiple partners in it. For this specifically, I want to recommend Havoc at Prescott High, just the Havoc Boys number 1 by C.M. Stunich. This is dark. This has triggers for pedophilia, child abuse, all these things, and along with all the violence and sexual assault and things like that. A lot of that stuff does happen to side characters, but we have kind of this massive revenge plan happening, and all those things play a part in it. So basically, the Havoc boys, they rule the school, and there are 5 of them, I believe, 1 for each letter of Havoc. And they will do the most awful things to people if you ask them to, but you have to pay their price. If you pay their price, then they'll do whatever it is that you ask them to do. Well, she was the target of one of their payments, and they ruined her life. So now she plans on using them to get revenge on everybody who is on her list, and it is quite the thing. I will say that this series gets kind of repetitive. I've only read the first 2 books, but over the top wildness. This is the reverse harem for dark romance. Then number 4, everything's more fun with danger, gun or knife play. I got nothing. I know that I have read this at some point. Can I think of a single solitary book where this happens? No. What is knife and gunplay? It's where either of those things shows up in sexy times in some way. And I can't think of any. So if you have read a book that you know I have read and you're like, you wrecked this book, it's totally in here, let me know, because I can't think of anything. I cannot think of a single solitary thing. But I'm gonna read it for the readathon, so. Number 5, let the bodies hit the wall, choking or up against the wall, slamming into the wall specifically for sexy times. And for this, I'm going to recommend Sacrifice, which is Bloodline Vampires #1 by Katee Robert. They slam into things a lot. They're vampires. The guys are. There's 3 of them. This is actually completely polyamorous. Everybody has a relationship with everybody else. And she is a vampire, which is a half vampire, half human. Normally they have pretty powerful magic, but hers has not manifested. And so because of that, her father is using her as a sacrifice. And he has abused her and also sent her to be the food and also hopefully a womb for this vampire that he has imprisoned. And if she were to get pregnant, then he would take her. Once the baby's born, he would kill her, keep the baby, and use threatening harm against the child and actual harm against the child to control the father. So that is kind of his whole entire plan. It is greatness. It is all of the things. I've already read this book twice. I've read the 2nd book, and I'm just waiting for the 3rd one. But it's perfect. First of all, the love interests don't do anything too terrible, you know, to where you can't forgive them. But also, they're not human, and they like violence, and they kind of like their sexy times rough. So I'm into it. And then lastly, number 6, we have That Wasn't an Enthusiastic Yes, Dubious Consent. And for this, I have a Christmas romance. What? Yes, I do. I have How the Hitman Stole Christmas by Sam Mariano. This does tie into their Mafia series, but I haven't actually read any of their Mafia books, so like the head of the Mafia shows up because this is their Hitman, but by and large it's more isolated. It's just them. So he is supposed to go home for Christmas, and he sees her alongside the road, and she's broken down, and her backseat is full of Christmas presents that she bought for her boyfriend's family, who is a jerk. We don't care about him. And he's just like, I feel like she's the perfect girlfriend. What if I just kidnapped her and took her to my house as my girlfriend to meet my family? And it plays out just like that. It's really not very dark as long as you like skip over the whole he kidnapped her thing. It's not super dark, and there's definitely dubious consent. I will say it is enjoyed interactions, and she like gets over it. There's not like a lot of inner turmoil or anything like that. She's just kind of like, well, good thing for you that I liked it, but it's not consent. It's not consent. It's definitely dubious. Like she says no and he does it anyways, and she totally enjoys it and she's okay with it afterwards. So in that sense, it is probably on the light end of Dubious Consent. And so if you're not too sure about reading that one, that would be a good option for you because it's really not bad. Even though in real life, consent is consent, you know? But it's a dark romance readathon. We're not really here to explain that we don't support murderous sociopaths in real life. I think that's implied. So 6 prompts, you can easily get all of those in one book. We have a specific book that has all of them included in 4 days. So I'm so looking forward to seeing everybody's books that they want to read and all the things. I'm excited to host a readathon. I'm just very, very ready. Have I been trying to pace my reading so I don't get burned out on dark romance before this readathon? Yes. Am I currently reading a dark romance? Yes I am. Don't ask questions. Everything will be fine. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Not next week, but like the week after will be my TBR and the readathon. So I'm excited. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you participate. Let me know if you are. Thanks. Bye.